Democrats can't get their voting bills passed, so they voted to change Senate rules to give more power to themselves. Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. You know, you really got to hand it to the Democratic Party. They're pretty incredible. I mean, they control the House of Representatives, the Senate, and the presidency. That's 2 out of 3 branches of the government, and yet they still feel the need to completely screw themselves over. This month, Democrats tried to end the Senate filibuster, which is a terrible idea for Democrats. If you don't know, a filibuster is something that gives the minority party power in the Senate. Let's say you want to pass a bill. Well, you need at least 51 votes in the Senate. But before a vote can happen, senators need to agree that they've finished debating the bill. Senators who don't want a bill to come to a vote call for a filibuster, which continues the debate endlessly. Now, in the past, senators would actually have to filibuster. That is, make long speeches to delay the vote on the bill, like the 25-hour filibuster in the movie Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. But now, with more advanced Senate technology, senators don't have to actually make speeches to filibuster a bill. They just have to say they're going to filibuster it. Now, there is a way to stop a filibuster. It's called cloture, which sounds like some kind of weird clothes-related torture. But cloture stops a filibuster, and it requires 60 votes. Otherwise, the bill is essentially done. The idea is either your party is so popular you have more than 60 senators, or you're going to need some kind of bipartisan cooperation to get stuff done. You know, compromise. Like they tried to teach you in elementary school. Hey, Chuck, share the ball with Mitch. Right now, the minority party is the Republicans. So by trying to end the filibuster, wouldn't Democrats be screwing Republicans, not themselves? Well, this is where it's helpful to have a memory slightly longer than a goldfish, which, sadly, it seems like many politicians don't have. I'd blame social media for their short attention spans, but most of the Senate is so old, they're still asking their grandkids how to turn on the internet, so that's probably not it. The latest debate about the filibuster began because Democrats wanted to pass new voting laws. You see, Republicans had earlier passed new voting laws, claiming it was to protect American democracy from evil democratic voting laws that were destroying America. So now, Democrats wanted to pass new voting laws, claiming it was to protect American democracy from evil Republican voting laws that were destroying America. When will they realize they don't hate each other? They hate the reflection of themselves they see in the other. If you want to know more about the Republican voting laws, check out the previous video we did on it. I'll put a link to it in the description below. Last year, Democrats tried passing a voting rights bill known as the For the People Act, and it was blocked by a Republican filibuster. What's the point of being the party in power if you can't force through the laws you want? But if at first you don't succeed, try again. So Democrats regrouped and tried to pass another, more scaled-back voting rights bill called the Freedom to Vote Act. And Republicans used the filibuster again. But you know what? Third time's a charm. So Democrats combined 2 different failed bills into one mega bill called the Freedom to Vote John R. Lewis Act. Think of it as a megazoid made up of 735 pages no one has actually read. This new bill represented a dramatic overhaul of nearly all aspects of the American electoral system, affecting everything from how votes are cast to how they are tallied across the country. And that's not all. It would sweep well beyond that, remaking campaign finance laws and likely triggering a significant redraw of the nation's House districts. Of course, Democrats knew that if Republicans blocked their previous bills, they were definitely going to block this mega bill. So, they had a plan. get rid of the filibuster. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer called for a vote to replace the 60-vote filibuster threshold with a simple majority. Since the Democrats have 51 votes, that means they could block any Republican filibuster and force the laws they want through. But guess what? It failed. You know why? Because of Democrats. I'll explain more after the break. Welcome back. So the Democratic Party's attempt to destroy the filibuster failed because of Democrats. Specifically, Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. They voted with Republicans against Democrats. That's right, individual senators don't have to vote with their party, even though they get a lot of peer pressure to do it. Just like elementary school. But the fact that Manchin and Sinema voted against the Democrats doesn't come as a surprise. Both have been vocal about preserving the filibuster.
Allowing one party to exert complete control in the Senate with only a simple majority will only pour fuel on the fire of political whiplash and dysfunction that is tearing this nation apart.
And while I continue to support these bills, I will not support separate actions that worsen the underlying disease of division infecting our country. Eliminating the 60-vote threshold will simply guarantee that we lose a critical tool that we need to safeguard our democracy from threats in the years to come.
She's talking about the future? Don't you know you need to live in the moment? That's why many on the left were upset.
So Senator Kyrsten Sinema says she supports voting rights reform and legislation, but just not changing the filibuster to get it accomplished. Obviously, you can't have one without the other. Does she think we're dumb?
Well, she might. Because there's a very good argument for why Democrats, even though they're in power right now, might not want to change the filibuster. Only in the Senate does the minority restrain the power of the majority. There's also a reasonable chance Republicans will win both houses in Congress and that Donald Trump himself could once again be elected president in 2024. Have Democrats thought what it would mean for them, for the Democrat minority, to have no power whatsoever? You know who said that? Mitt Romney. Romney is now the most sensible Democrat. Look, this country's weird right now. The filibuster is a check on power that the minority party has over the majority party. That's why a few years ago, when Democrats were in the minority, they were staunch supporters of the filibuster. Back in 2017, then Senator Kamala Harris joined 32 Democrats and 5 Republicans who opposed any effort to curtail the existing rights and prerogatives of senators to engage in full, robust, and extended debate. But once she ran for president in 2019, Harris promised to eliminate the filibuster to pass a Green New Deal. And this month, she called the filibuster an arcane Senate rule. Senator Cory Booker is also eager to change the filibuster rules.
We need to actually change the filibuster to preserve the right to vote in America.
Even though in 2019, he said we should not be doing anything to mess with the strength of the filibuster. And that it's good to have the power of the filibuster. Back in 2019, New York Magazine even said Democrats had an irrational love of the filibuster. And this may shock you, but even President Biden has been hypocritical. Here he is just a few weeks ago.
To protect our democracy, I support changing the Senate rules, whichever way they need to be changed to prevent a minority of senators from blocking action on voting rights.
Quite a change of pace from a few months ago when he said ditching the filibuster would throw the entire Congress into chaos and nothing will get done. Kind of like when he said he'd never push a vaccine mandate, and then he pushed a vaccine mandate. I'm noticing a pattern of behavior with Biden and politicians in general, because the Democrats should know better. Their short-term power grabs have come back to bite them in a big way several times before. I'll tell you more after the break. Welcome back. You know what they say, those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Back in 2003, Senate Democrats began using the filibuster to block judicial nominations by George W. Bush. That was back when the filibuster was good. In fact, when Republicans debated eliminating the filibuster in 2005, Democrat Chuck Schumer said getting rid of the filibuster would be a disaster.
They want, because they can't get their way on every judge, to change the rules in midstream, to wash away 200 years of history. They want to make this country into a banana republic, where if you don't get your way, you change the rules. Are we going to let them? No! It'll be a doomsday for democracy if we do.
The Republicans ended up not getting rid of the filibuster. So democracy was saved. Yay, filibuster. But then, Obama became president. And Republicans used the filibuster to block his judicial nominations. So the filibuster became bad. Boo, filibuster. So in 2013, the Democrats voted to eliminate most filibusters on presidential nominees, which was known as the nuclear option. That meant that federal judicial nominees and executive office appointments can advance to confirmation votes by a simple majority of senators, rather than the 60-vote supermajority that has been the standard for nearly 4 decades. Democrats were really happy about that one. In fact, top Democrats held a victory party with liberal activists afterward, in a room just off the Senate floor. After all, they could confirm Obama's judicial nominees now with just 51 votes. That'll never come back to bite them in the very near future. I mean, sure, no political party has held the presidency for more than 12 consecutive years since 1913. But don't worry, guys, Hillary's got this one in the bag. Until she didn't. Then Trump became president, and Democrats couldn't use the filibuster to stop his Republican judicial nominees like they did with George W. Bush, because they had nuked it themselves. And then in 2017, Republican Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell made the nuclear option even nuclearer by eliminating the filibuster on Supreme Court nominees too. That's what prompted 37 senators, including Kamala Harris, to defend the filibuster. They didn't succeed. But now that the filibuster was gone for all judicial appointments, Republicans used that power to confirm 3 Trump-appointed Supreme Court justices. So maybe it's a good thing for the Democrats that their attempts to change the filibuster failed. Or else in a few years, they might have failed even harder. So what do you think? Should we keep the filibuster or solve all debates through trial by combat? Leave your comments below. And if you like this show, please know we could not do it without direct support from viewers like you. Visit patreon.com/AmericaUncovered and contribute $1 or more per episode to help us keep the show going. So click the link below. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching America Uncovered.